Hey everybody, welcome to What Drives Us, episode 246 for September 27th, 2017. My name is Russell Frost. I am lucky enough to be host this evening and have three of my best friends with us here to talk about this week in advanced technology, transportation, and sustainable energy. It sounds silly when you say it. It doesn't look bad in print, but boy, does that sound silly when you say it. I may have to rework that. It's still What Drives Us, your favorite old show about cool cars. Let's introduce this. Let's introduce the staff and get going. On my mic or the hum?
The hum. I don't know which mic it's coming from.
I don't know. We were fighting some technical issues before the show, and hopefully we're not going to fight them. We'll figure it out. Maybe if I turn that off. Okay. Yeah, there's a little background hum, isn't there? Well, let's talk over it and ignore it. Like most of the problems of the world. Let's see. Our man in Boulder, Colorado. He is the owner, operator, founder, creator, inventor, the technician of Boulder Hybrids in Boulder, Colorado. His name is Paul Guzik.
Hey everybody, glad to be back. And right now, I wish I was driving a blank. There you go.
You wish you were driving?
No, Tesla would be fun.
Yeah.
If it, especially with someone else's, so I could just like melt the tires off of it.
Isn't that always the way? I mean, yeah, I get that. You get that. Well, speaking of melting tires, yeah.
I just want to interrupt about someone else's Tesla. If y'all don't know about the website Turo.com, Turo, it is like Airbnb for private cars. And you can go on Turo and rent some guy's Tesla for $100 a day or 150, whatever he wants, and burn his tires off. So.
Wow.
And the Tesla drivers on Turo thank Paul for this wonderful public service
for all the
address.
business they're going to get. They have every kind of car, but there seems to be Teslas in each market.
I can rent a Hyundai Sonata for $33 a day, which a Dodge Avenger for $28.
No, they pay you $33 a day to take it.
A Dodge Avenger, a 2008 Dodge Avenger. That is probably one of the worst vehicles ever.
It is a. Sorry to interrupt everybody, but it is a cool website because if you need a pickup truck or have an extra car that you want to generate some revenue with, you can rent it out.
Yeah, you got to kind of wonder how many people are paying for their Tesla by, renting it on Turo.
A $41 a day.
Rent it out 5 days a month. That's your payment.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cray-cray. Yeah. Well, that's a cool website, Paul. I'm gonna have to spend more time there. Speaking of cool websites, and I don't know how that ties into this guy, but he's our man with 2 Teslas in the driveway, and as I like to say, 2 more on order. Dr. Evan Fusco.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Speaking of melting tire, we discovered one of the tires on my wife's Model X is down to the wires due to some uneven wear on there. So
it's on Turo, is what you're saying?
It looks like it's been.
Sorry, back to Turo. I just tuned in. There's a Fisker Karma for $93 a day. The one that's actually still on the road.
And you can pick it up at the Faraday plant.
It's in San Diego. Hey, Russell, go for it.
I'm looking at San Diego cars right now, and I can't believe like some of the staggeringly bad cars that are available for rent. Or like, why would you rent a car for more than you could rent a car from a car agency? Like a 2009 Nissan Cube for $30 a day. A 10-year-old Nissan Cube for $30 a day. That's a great deal. I'm sorry. Let's stop making fun of Turo.com and introduce the next man, the friendliest man on the show, Mr.
Wow. Thank you very much. Welcome to the show, everybody. We've got some interesting news to go through. So let's get to it.
A 2016 Tesla Model X. Want to guess how much?
150.
125.
$279 per day.
No.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's
Yeah.
He ain't gonna get that.
He's
No.
trying to get his payment done in one.
That's crazy. And $40 a day for a Prius C. No. Just no. It's not going to happen. I'm not seeing a lot of luxury. I mean, a few luxury cars, but for the most,
The Karma, $93 a day.
a Maserati Ghibli. I don't know this car, but it's only $119 a day, which frankly seems like a reasonable value for that vehicle. Whatever. Let's talk about some news and not talk about Turo.com. The first thing I wanted to bring up today was a topic that we talked about a little while ago on the Tesla Life, which is the other show that some or all of us participate in. And you can find that at the Tesla Life on Twitter, or search the Tesla Life Show on YouTube. We talk nothing but Tesla, but there was a sort of an interesting topic that went across 4 news stories, and it all led to kind of coming to the conclusion that things aren't quite as good with the Model 3 as maybe Tesla thought they were going to be at this point. And I'm going to just talk about the rough things of the stories, then we'll open it up. There's a thing on CNET Roadshow, which Evan has actually updated and corrected, but it said that the audio capabilities basically didn't exist. The story on CNET, and this is a good reason not to read Roadshow on CNET, by the way, which is pretty consistent observation. No AM FM radio, no phone music over USB, no Bluetooth. Basically, like, it's a quiet car. It turns out that you can plug your phone in via USB. But that's a little odd. And there was another story on Seeking Alpha, just about the small numbers. I mean, the highest VIN number we've seen so far was VIN number 259, which 2.5 months into Tesla Model 3 production, Tesla thought they were going to be much more.
Prime numbers, aren't they?
I'm sorry.
They're only using prime numbers.
Yes.
So 259 is they've only made 7 or whatever.
Ouch. That's a math joke.
wrong forum for that.
Yeah, it was an art.
I don't even know if 259 is a prime number, but it kind of looks like it might be.
It does sound like it. Yeah. I'm with you there. And then there was another story on CNBC, which was fascinating in that it claims that Tesla is going to be switching from NVIDIA to Intel for the main infotainment system chip. So before I comment and just take away the whole conversation, anybody else want to bring anything up? Any other corrections?
I don't know if I got any correct. I mean, where this all stemmed from, you bring up the Seeking Alpha article that kind of loops in there is, production is slow, and there may be a lot of reasons for it. A lot of it's speculation. There's been not really anything official coming out from Tesla just yet. The Seeking Alpha article picks up bits and pieces of ideas and speculation and comments and evidence for whatever it takes to be evidence on a Seeking Alpha article that suggests that Tesla's not going to meet their third quarter production predictions, and that there may be issues. There's reports of paint problems on the Model 3. There's reports of other fit and finish issues. There's this evidence that the infotainment system isn't quite up to snuff. We know that the autopilot and the auto wipers aren't working yet. So, there's all these little bits and not really any big VIN numbers out, and very limited information coming out to the public from those that have taken delivery. So yeah, it's ripe for speculation that there could be problems, or it could just be the growing pains of production.
Yeah, and on the VIN number subject, there have been people reporting that they're into the 300s, but there's very little evidence of people taking pictures of the VIN numbers.
Right.
So it's, again, is it wishful thinking, or I'm not sure why we got a number of people asking for VINs on the website, on the Twitter feed when a picture's posted. They all want to know where the VIN number sits, and like we said, it's not much higher than 300 currently.
Wow. So, I mean, one of the things we talked about on the Tesla show, or one of the things I rambled on about was, should Tesla, in some form, some spokesman for them come out and go, yeah, you know what? This is a slow rollout. It's slower than we thought. We're wrestling with some issues, but we're solving them. And before we start shipping to consumers, we're going to have these problems solved. Or is this the right thing to do? Do you just keep doing it? You don't talk about it. You let it go.
And I think they're probably doing the right thing if they think they're going to have answers soon. And as I said, it's going to sound a whole lot better to investors and the public in general and reservation holders if Elon can come out and say, next week we are turning on the FM radio functionality, and we're turning on the full functionality infotainment system, and we're adding an extra feature we didn't even tell you guys about before, and we will begin full ramp to production in 2 weeks. And that sounds a whole lot better than coming out and, well, this is broken, and this is broken, and this is broken, and this is broken, and we think we're going to fix it soon. I don't think you can blame him for holding off until he's got something positive to say.
Right.
Well, and they did say at the launch that production will be hell. So.
Yes, indeed. And when you're going through hell, you don't stop. So it's something that, I think that Elon has to, he's going to face the music at some point in the near future. But is it wrong for him to just kind of keep it on the down low until he's, I guess, pressed into it a little further? I don't know.
When's their next quarterly report?
Yeah, or never know. Maybe something.
They'll have to answer. They'll have to answer to that.
Yeah, that's right. He's gonna have to face the music at some point.
Yeah, I suspect that the he's down in Australia now for the Tesla semi truck reveal. So maybe we'll get a little bit more information there too. Who knows?
The semi truck.
It's not quite a truck yet.
But they're going to drive on the wrong side of the road down there.
Isn't it the power thing that he's doing?
Oh, is it? Is that not the semi down there?
No.
The
the semi is happening October 24th, I believe, or something close to that.
Why would he do this? He wouldn't do the semi in Australia. I mean,
no, it wouldn't make sense with it.
Yeah. I don't, is it even appropriate to be talking about rolling out new things when you haven't rolled out the last thing?
Oh, you can't stop, Russell. You gotta, you've got to follow the plan.
Okay.
Sell the future.
But does that make them? So, I was in a discussion earlier with our friend who's been on the show, Ed Niedermeyer, who is, how should we say it? He's critical of Tesla frequently. How would you describe it, Evan?
Sure, that's fine.
You know what?
The word hard-on comes to mind.
Hard-on. I mean, Ed's
non-fan.
Ed's. I don't know that it's not even a fan. Ed's. And I'll have him on the show. I don't need to defend him per se, but I mean, his thing has always been that he does love EVs and he does love a lot of the things about Tesla. He just wants them to be better. He feels like they're falling short and that people are ignoring that. And I think that's legitimate space to come from if that's really where you're coming from. I'm not questioning his motives, but that's the only defense I'm going to lay out. But nonetheless, it's certainly obvious to say that he's very critical of Tesla very frequently. And in some ways, I think that's good. You need people to hold these companies' feet to the fire, because too often you get something like Roadshow that publishes a story about what is basically a silent vehicle saying And I quote, Tesla Model 3 audio capabilities initially limited. Updates coming. Which is like, no, none of it works. And they're going to fix it probably, but you know what I mean? Like that's a pandering headline, in my opinion.
And that's, I'm sure that's part of it. I am sure that they're not trying to piss off somebody that's going to stop them from then going to the next event.
Right. And maybe this is part of that anti-Model 3 sales strategy.
Maybe. It would be brilliant if that was the case.
Right. You can have one, but you're going to be singing to yourself. For the Evan, you know what? I'm sorry. I just like, how did the tires on the Model X get worn down?
There's a little cant to the tire, and so the outside wore way faster than the inside.
Is that a Tesla warranty thing, or is that a?
Well, the tires are probably about due to be changed
Dr.
anyway.
Miss Busco maybe needs to drive around corners a little slower.
No, I
on
think
all four wheels.
I think it's just an alignment issue. We'll get it fixed.
Excellent. I don't mean to,
So what happens when you go on a NASCAR track in a loop in the same direction?
Well, let's go for our next story. Let's go to my friend Mark, who wants to talk about the Leaf.
Yes, indeed. As we've heard, there is a new 2018 Nissan Leaf, and recently it was spotted at a National Drive Electric Week in Cupertino, and someone with their video camera showed up and videotaped the outside of the car. So we'll just play the video here. Just skip. There we go, and we've got some nice shots of the Leaf plugged in as it is receiving a charge, and it was all open for anyone to see. So they filmed it, and the car looks pretty good. I think it looks. I think it's definitely an improvement over the previous styling.
Yeah, the front end's much more aggressive looking and stylish.
Yeah, and they've kept the same shifter knob thing, and screen's got a little bit bigger.
Two-tone seats are popular, huh?
Yeah, but again, it's an improvement as to what it, and of course the range. Everyone's talking about the 40 kilowatt battery, which gives you that ability to go about roughly 220, 230 miles. Or am I off on that?
I think that was kilometers, wasn't it?
Oh, okay. Yep, I was off. So it's kilometers.
Okay. Yeah,
I know people get confused by that kilometer thing.
we were talking like
It's Canadians.
What is that, a Bose amplifier? Wait. What the hell?
Yeah, it was the Bose amplifier sitting in the back.
But that's like takes up your cargo room.
Yeah, what the hell? Who
Couldn't
screwed that?
put it under the seat.
Oh, that's lame.
It's like something like a 20-year-old would do.
Yeah.
It does.
They should have put it under the seat.
Oh, that's
What the hell?
Tell me that's something somebody added on.
That's an aftermarket.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay,
No.
good.
No.
I have no idea.
No, I don't think so. No, I'm sure it's real. I go back to the front of the car,
The front of the
radio
car?
unit. Does it say Bose on it? Like the radio on the dash.
That right there?
Didn't
Yeah.
say anything
Yeah,
on
does
it.
it say Bose anywhere?
Tough to see.
A lot of times it's on the speakers in the front two doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see a Bose logo.
You can see the logo on it down there, but
You can?
yeah, go back a little
That's
bit.
Incredible.
Well, on the amplifier.
Yeah,
That's a stupid place to put
that
it.
is stupid. Is that floor vinyl or is it carpet?
It looks like a hump, does it not?
Yeah, it's a battery
Well,
hump.
that's a hump. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big hump.
Probably like the engineering access panel or something. Who knows?
And here's your robot that comes with a car.
Yeah, with everything. That's not nice. You know
You have
what?
to learn Japanese to use it.
Well, that's another problem, but
Whoa, that's not a Leaf.
that's the new Leaf. The
Yeah.
extra.
No, that's the Faraday future.
Oh, and he
And an EV1, yes.
Wow.
gets
So
that.
this of course was at the National Drive Electric Show. So there's a number of other models that
I thought they crushed them all.
no, that couple got away.
There's like one or two.
Yeah, that hit away. Oh, there's a nice model there. The single seat
With-
yellow banana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Carbon Sparrow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
straight from the Austin Powers movie.
A classic.
Yeah. Gold member.
Oh. That's one of the that's
Homemade.
It's a converted BMW.
a couple of zeros. Gee, I have no idea what that is, but it's horrifying. Wow.
Lots of conversions.
Yeah, I mean the conversions are kind of. I still think they're kind of fun.
Yep.
And that's that. Okay.
Yep. But check out if you have interest in a Leaf, there's some great close-up shots, and follow the link and take a look yourself, where you can put it large on your screen and zoom in if you like.
There you go. And you can figure out the mystery. I'm gonna go to a Nissan dealer tomorrow and see if I can figure that Bose thing out. That's freaky.
Yeah, that's interesting how they would put it there,
Yeah.
just sitting in the cargo bay.
Yeah.
That's pretty odd.
So you come back from the grocery store and your gallon of milk spills. That's going to be ugly.
Yeah, Paul's got lots of stories about milk spilling in cars.
Oh yeah,
Doesn't it?
just BMWs.
But I mean, so like I'm a hi-fi guy too. Like I like old hi-fi gear and stuff. And one of the things
No, that's factory. I just Googled it. There's lots of pictures of that stupid Bose box in the back of the trunk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Idiotic.
like if you're going to stack boxes in there, it's going to not, like they won't. You can't use the whole spin,
Yeah,
or you're setting them on top.
that's retarded.
That's
Oh my
dumb.
gosh.
That's a really. Wait,
Now, do you think that there would be wires sticking out from that at all? Like, is there a possibility?
No, the wires will be
Maybe underneath?
hidden. It's just like,
It's a
come
big-
on, guys.
It's a big heat sink, then, right? That's all it is a heat sink.
No, it's probably an amplifier.
Well, it's an amplifier,
But-
but it has to dissipate heat. But
But why they
did
could?
put it in the
any-
trunk?
Yeah, I mean, or on the sidewall even.
Yeah.
But like a Prius with the JVC audio has amplifier under the driver's seat or passenger seat, under the passenger seat, and it's out of the way and it does its thing.
Yeah, but that's very weird.
Yeah.
That's very bad. It just, and again, what that is, that just screams like last minute engineering change that they couldn't find a better spot for that. Well, we're just going to stick it here. Ow.
Yeah.
Not good. Well, something that
Or
is
they went to Bose and said, "Build us a small one that goes under the passenger seat." And Bose said, "F you. This is all we can do."
Whoa. Yeah. I got nothing. So something that is good, a good installation. We've talked a little bit on the show about Tesla's Powerwall, and that while there was a big splash when they were announced, things were really quiet for a long time. Electrek this week reported that they're starting to see Powerwall installations go up. Their proof for that was a California program that subsidizes them. And Tesla was responsible for almost 2,000 Powerwalls in California, which in and of itself is not an enormous number, but that's pretty good, especially considering the next biggest company was LG that had 380.
Wow.
So, I'd love to see tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of these things being installed because I think it's a good thing for the grid. But it's nice to see that more of those are getting out into homes where they belong.
Yeah, and there was another story recently about an Australian who installed a power pack from Tesla, and claimed the savings was in the 1.5 million area, saving on his electric bill for his business.
Wow.
That's huge dollars.
I don't get it.
That's a big industrial account.
He must have had a big ass building.
Yeah, it wasn't a power wall. It was the larger refrigerator style looking ones.
So there's a Tesla Powerwall in a box, and here's some dudes that are going to like nail it to the wall, I guess. Oh, maybe it's a little more complicated than that.
You think?
Well, a bit more expensive than that, anyways.
It works best in the swimming pool.
You see the price on this thing to install?
And after they nail it to the wall, they realize it doesn't work because the nails are going through it.
Yeah. Just put it, we'll wash it off in case there's any manufacturing oils on it.
So the pack weighs 265 pounds roughly. And so it lists for $5,500, but you have to buy $700 in supporting hardware. That's some expensive damn brackets. Maybe that includes wiring and stuff too. I don't know. And then this says the typical installation cost ranges from $800 to $2,000. So you're into this
lift crane to get it.
Yeah, you're into this thing for $7,000 minimum, and up close to $9,000, depending on the type of installation it will require.
But you know, if you have high time of day rates, it might pay for itself. Or you live in a flaky place like Florida where the power goes out. Oh, you can't do something like that in Florida; it's against the law. But
but Paul's
there's a market for it.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a market.
I agree.
And at my house in Florida, I would have loved to have had something like this because, like Paul said, every time it rained, the power went out because of where we were on the line, and to have something like this would have been, amazing.
Right, and for that's comparable to a backup generator, even really a small backup generator. Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a lot of people that are, especially with hurricanes and whatnot, are looking at this going, well, how, this is making sense.
Right.
So there you go. I don't know what happens at the end, but I suspect it's not very dramatic because it's just a big white box. Oh, there we go. Pulling off the plastic.
There's nice.
And it says Tesla. That's what you paid $7,000 for. Logo.
And correction,
but they didn't even. It's not even hanging on the wall. It's sitting on the ground.
No, it's not a bracket on the wall.
Yeah, awfully low to the ground.
Well, yeah, but you don't need a heavy duty bracket if it's resting on the floor.
I don't know that it was. Maybe it was.
Like, just go to Costco and get a TV bracket.
That's all that's required.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to have you install my Powerwall.
That's it. And correction, it was a town in Australia that saved over $1.5 million in grid connection costs with a Tesla Power Pack.
Right on.
Was that American dollars or Australian dollars?
That is Australian dollars.
Oh, so it was like $2.50.
Yeah. At 1.9 million Australian dollars, 1.5 million US dollars.
That's, this kind of decentralized grid thing is something we talk about over and over again, and it's a good idea. It's a really good idea for a whole bunch of reasons. So glad to see that Tesla's doing what they can to make that happen. There's another company that sold us energy for a long, long time, and they want to sell us energy again in a new form. And I don't normally, I've been doing a lot of screen sharing tonight. I don't normally do this because sometimes the pictures aren't all that illuminating. But this is the first Shell EV charging station.
Shell?
Royal Dutch Shell. Wow. The oil company.
The oil company?
There they are, right? Wow.
Wow.
There they are installing EV chargers in their gas stations, which, frankly, shows a
Where
lot
is that?
more.
UK.
Is that in the UK? Yes, you're right. It is in the UK. Yeah. Shows a lot more forward thinking than I would normally give them credit for. Because why not? Why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do that. Bring those customers.
Well, you can go in and get a slice of gas station pizza and
and then die.
A strong coffee and.
As our friend Linda Weideman would attest, don't eat really the burrito at the gas station. Don't eat anything.
Don't eat sushi, gas station sushi.
That's a bad idea.
Really bad idea.
But is this something more, Russell? Is this them forward thinking, or is this them seeing that the writing may be on the wall?
Well, I don't know that the writing
covering their bases.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm wondering if this is the gas station equivalent of a compliance vehicle. Based on what they're charging, currently what equivalent is 34 cents per kilowatt hour. So a full charge is going to be in the $25 range or so, depending on how much you have when you get there and how full you need, which, is not terrible, but they're looking at basically doubling that next year, which puts it into the pretty ridiculous range for price.
But there's people who are not planners and need 10 miles to get home who will pay anything. So.
Because it's cheaper than a tow.
From the e-scooter standpoint, I don't see any downside. From Shell's standpoint, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if this makes sense or not. I think it does in the long run. Maybe, but I'm not surprised they're not trying to be competitive with electrical rates. I mean,
see, I don't know. Why not? I mean,
they don't give gas away.
I don't expect them to give it away, but I don't think they need to.
I've
been driving away their own potential market.
If they're making the effort to put them in, why would they not try to be competitive as well? Right. Why not get them utilized?
I think or they're counting on the emergency market, like Paul mentioned,
or as Evan said, it's a
profitable
compliance thing.
I mean, the emergency
for every
market
EV station, they can put in 10 diesel stations.
Right. The market's minuscule for emergency fill-ups. I mean, the vast majority of people are commuters, and they never get anywhere close to running out of juice. And the people that are traveling typically will plan. And occasionally maybe you plan poorly and you have to pull off, to top up enough to get to the next supercharger if you're in a Tesla or whatever. But I don't see that working. I mean, if you price that somewhere reasonable where people can go, know that they can get on the road and drive without having to plan and fill up at a reasonable price, I think you've got something very desirable. I'd love to have that option. There's still places I can't go without meticulous planning, or can't really go at all in any kind of practical sense. And if all the Shell stations along those routes had these, at least Chatamos, man, that would be sweet. I would love that. I'd be happy to pay gas equivalent prices for the top of for those circumstances. But this is in excess of gas prices.
So in today's world, Evan, what is the reasonable price that you would pay per kilowatt?
Well, what would I pay, or what would I think is fair? I think probably somewhere.
What do you think is fair?
I think somewhere probably around 25 cents a kilowatt's fair. In most places. Now, it depends on your market. Obviously, California, that's not even going to cover the cost of their electricity. But in my market, where it's 10 to 11 cents per kilowatt hour, you're still, doubling your profit on that. I think
commercial tariffs are typically higher, though. So, like a business usually pays more per kilowatt hour than a resident. So, depending what their base is, yes, they're entitled to make a profit. But yeah, it has to be priced, like you said, at a price point the consumer will use, or else no one's going to use it.
Right.
If you went to rent a Redbox video and it was $12 for one night, no one would rent the videos. But
right.
When it's $1 or $2, whatever it is, people use it.
I'm not sure I'm not sure that's a good analogy, but you know what I mean? Like, I get it. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I'd only let Redbox rip me off once. Like, oh my God, this video is $12. But when you're buying gas, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I need gas. Well, you get off at this stop, and I'm going to pay what I'm going to pay. Even if I'm a Gas Buddy user, which isn't everyone. How far out do you plan for that?
Yeah. A lot of people traveling in a gas car have no idea what the price will be wherever they're arriving or need it.
Right, and I'm definitely not defending Shell here in any way, because I'm not a Shell fan. But they can certainly adjust that pricing. You know what I mean? Like what they announce now, may not be their business strategy in 3 months.
Yeah,
right.
So I don't know.
Or maybe they'll have a loyalty program where if you're a member, you get 40% off or something.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah, right. You buy 100 gallons of gas.
Yeah, buy a gallon of gas. Get your electricity.
You get a free kilowatt.
They let you charge your EV for free. Yeah.
You can just see a guy standing there with a jerry can going, what am I going to do with this?
The nozzle doesn't fit.
Exactly. Well,
It's a business opportunity. Let's make jerry cans for EVs so you can go to a charging station, charge it up, get a ride back to your car, and then plug it into your car.
A jerry can, yeah, a battery that's shaped like a jerry can. There you go.
Yeah, paint it red.
oh, man, that look great in the back of Jeeps and stuff, right? It doesn't do anything. What the hell? Well, our final story this week, it is a redo with credit to, I think, Paul brought it at the end of last week's show. No, Paul, the Dyson story?
I saw it and I posted it on the What Drives Us Facebook page.
On the Facebook page, excuse me, then that must be where I saw you with it. Yes, and Paul, you want to make your joke about Dyson working
Well, the headline is Dyson of the vacuum cleaner fame is working on an EV. And my headline is, how much will it suck? So
He's here through Thursday, folks. Tip your Try the veal.
I'll keep my day job.
So when I first saw that, I was like, oh.
But they did buy a battery company for their vacuums.
And
so
they acquired not only a battery company, a solid state battery company.
Right.
Where have we heard solid state batteries?
Which is the big thing, apparently.
Yeah, we've heard that just recently.
Said they're waiting to make their EV with solid state batteries. Dyson
in 2020.
Yeah, Dyson claims they're going to have a car out by 2020 with solid state batteries. Again, the sort of Dyson certainly makes.
And they're going to sell them to cities, and they'll be street cleaners as well as cars.
Paul, you get the market cornered.
Yeah, it's just going to be nonstop, aren't they?
The cyclone turbine or whatever.
Mr. Dyson certainly is doing this for all the right things. He, says that he wants to find a solution to air pollution. He thinks EVs are a really good a way to cut that down. He feels like this is something that they can make. I think that's where a little bit of the hubris comes in, because we've seen a lot of people on this show say they're going to make a car and not realize just how freakishly difficult that is.
Yeah.
Even Apple with $1 gazillion isn't going to make a car, or are they? But a vacuum cleaner company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Who had that idea at the board meeting?
We should make a car. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, we made some vacuums, and some hand dryers. Let's make cars now.
Yeah, we expanded it to fans. So the next logical choice is a car.
Well, the car will dry your hands too as you're driving.
There you go. Yeah.
It'll blow something anyway.
I mean, and granted, look at again, Dyson vacuums are supposed to be very nice. I don't have one. I don't know. I'll take reasonable people's word for it. But do I want a purple plastic and with orange trim electric vehicle? Well, actually, I do. But I don't think most, like that Dyson styling that's very signature for their vacuums and their fans, probably not as popular in electric cars.
It'll be fun to see what they come out with. It'll be definitely fun to see. So I wish them all the luck in the world.
Absolutely. Nothing would make me happy.
It's going to have a self-vacuuming carpet. If you spill crumbs, it'll just disappear.
When you park the car in the garage, a little Roomba shows up underneath the seat and starts vacuuming.
And if you have kids, all the Cheerios will just disappear.
Just disappear, yes.
And we make fun of that, but who is it? Chrysler, the Chrysler Pacifica has the built-in vacuum.
It has a built-in vacuum.
Yeah. And which again, if you have a full-size van and you have a big family, that's actually not an impractical accessory. You know, I get that. If you want your car to be clean, I mean, some of us just don't care. But
And of course, for the parents, they should have a beer cooler in the car. There are cars in Japan with refrigerators in them from the factory.
I actually think the Pacifica does.
Or, sorry, your beverage.
No, it has one of those
Beverages.
heater cooler
cups.
No. It's got a little console that I think does hold like a 6-pack size space that either would warm things or cool them. I'm trying to remember because when we saw this, it was like a year and a half ago, but I think it does.
Toyota vans in Japan definitely have that feature.
Do they? Interesting. So I'm not that crazy. I mean, a little refrigerator, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I don't know that it's worth the parasitic weight, but you know, there it is. And we saw how well that whole plug-in electric van worked for Chrysler, right? Because they stopped making it.
You're right. So
They sold 12 of them, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Am I making fun of Chrysler right now? Yes.
a little bit, yeah.
That's all I got this week.
I
Anybody
got one more before we go. It's
Do
a
you
little
really?
short one, and I'll just share it on screen.
go?
And this is something that we all foresaw quite some time ago, but it officially happened, and Nevada has said
Who would have saw
goodbye.
that coming?
They officially say that the deal has been dissolved. The
Wow.
Faraday Future FF91 will not be produced outside of Las Vegas, Nevada.
So is that at
Wow.
McCarran Airport? Like the people leaving town, they just dump the car at the airport?
Just buried in the desert. That's all they. If they could get the Bobcat Rodeo to fire up again, that is.
Yeah.
There's a lot buried in the desert around. I really want to dig there randomly. I want to personally assure you of that.
But how did the state politicians like get hoodwinked into making that deal in the first place? I mean,
Well, the question is, did they actually spend any money on it?
Okay,
Like infrastructure, did they have to build roads? Did they end up doing anything? Because we all heard in the early days that they had put stopgaps in place, that if the project was not moving along to a certain extent, they were not putting in the infrastructure. So they may have not have spent much, if anything at all.
I mean, far be it from me to cast any aspersions against the fine governor of the fine state of Nevada, but Brian Sandoval isn't exactly the brightest bulb on the string. And
so you say brightest bulb on the strip?
yeah, whatever, brightest bulb anywhere. The guy's kind of a dimwit. But in his defense, look at what state governors look at what Wisconsin's doing for the Foxconn factory. I mean, state governors have
Bending over.
state governors have a long history of giving away the farm to get a business in there because the corporations, manufacturing corporations, have made it a game of playing states off against each other so they can get the best deal. Well, good for them. The problem is it never really works out for the state that well. Not quite as bad as an NFL stadium, but not overly good. So, I mean, on one hand, I give him a little slack. On the other hand, I mean, he was a sucker that was just ripe to be taken. So, did I get too political there? I'm sorry. Let's talk about Richard Dyson or James Dyson. Anyway, well, that's cool. What a surprise! And do we start?
Richard Branson and James Dyson are going to get together and make a flying vacuum cleaner.
There you go. Paul's got $1 million.
That turns into an EV.
And it goes to the moon.
Yeah.
Evan, who's winning the baseball game? Evan.
He's frozen.
He's
Evan
frozen.
froze.
I thought maybe he was just like kind of sleeping.
No, he froze.
He totally froze. Okay. Let's do some shout outs and go home then. Paul, take it away, sir.
Shout out to Colorado as usual with the $5,000 state rebate on any new plug-in vehicle. no matter where you buy it. So if you're buying a Prius Prime in New Jersey, where they're currently on sale, and you live in Colorado, you'll still get the $5,000 state rebate and probably the $4,500 federal rebate and the $3,500 discount New Jersey people get at the dealer. So,
man, make it beeline to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a resident.
I've had a bunch of customers do it.
Yeah.
If you have to live in Colorado.
Right. Doesn't work so well if you're a California resident.
And then, of course, as always, I plug my shop, Boulder Hybrids, boulderhc.com. If you have any kind of an EV, bring it to us. And, of course, any kind of hybrid we work on. And I had the pleasure this week of working on a Chevy Malibu hybrid.
Oh.
And let's just say the team that worked on that car was not the team that worked on the Volt, because it is a turd.
It was, oh, no. Oh.
It's far from a Volt.
Wow.
So do not buy a Malibu hybrid, buy a Volt.
Buy a Volt.
I would agree with that wholly.
Absolutely. Well, Mark?
Just a shout out to the Waterloo Region Voltec Group and the Waterloo Region EV Association. And just keep your car plugged in. ABC, always be charging.
Coffee is for closers. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Coffee is for closers. Well, it looks like Evan's gone. So, Evan, thank you for being on the show this week. And he usually doesn't have any plugs, so the heck with him. As always, I want to thank Michael Manring for our theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. Buy his stuff on iTunes, CD Baby, whatever. Check it out. Support him. We thank Michael for letting us use that music. You can find us. We're easy to find. You know why? I'll tell you why. Facebook.com/whatdrivesus. No underscore, no weird things. Facebook.com/whatdrivesus.
YouTube.com/whatdrivesus.
And Twitter.com, we're at What Drives Us.
Amazing.
All of those things. Just look for What Drives Us, and we will be there. We would love to have your support. If you're on Facebook, like the page, please suggest some friends. We don't mind. We always like meeting new people. And it's a good place to pick up the news and interact with us, if such is your desire. And I don't know. That never works well. So I want to thank Evan, who's already bailed, probably because I made a bad remark about the baseball game. Paul and Mark, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Russell.
You're most welcome. And of
Always
course,
a pleasure.
Thank you, Paul. And of course, thank all of you for watching and or listening, because we wouldn't do the show without you. I mean, we might, but
we probably still would.
We probably still would, because we like doing it. But, you know, we're much happier to have you here. So Tony Schaefer is off this week. He's probably watching the Cubs and Cardinals game, according to Evan. So Tony will probably be back next week. Maybe we'll see. We're gonna have some negotiations with his agent. That's all we got. Thanks very much for tuning in. Download us next week to find out what drives us. See ya.